and welcome to AWS Review, a weekly look at what's happening at AWS and how it may change how you do business. I am your host, Michael Krause. I am the Chief Technology Officer at Charter Solutions, where we help organizations change and innovate quickly by accelerating their acquisition and use of data.
And I'm your co-host, John Affolter. I'm a lead technical architect on the AWS specialist team at Salesforce, where I work with potential customers, helping them vision possibilities that AWS and Salesforce enable.
Excellent. Welcome back, John. And today is a day for another update show.
Yeah, November. Here we are.
And it's just before reInvent. So I have the funny feeling that our December update show might be long and arduous.
Yes, we can only hope so, I guess.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I was looking through some of these November updates, and they seem. I'm surprised they didn't save a lot of these ones. You know how every once in a while, large organizations can maybe wait till the big conferences to release stuff, but there's definitely some good updates.
Amazon's very good at making releasing changes as they go. I have a Slack channel because I'm an AWS ambassador where I get service updates, and I must get 8 or 9 a day. They're fairly kind of minor, small things. Oh, we now do this. We now do this. They're not the big announcements, but it's like a constant stream that's going past of new releases and changes.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. So there's even more that we don't even get to see just on the blog posts then.
Absolutely. And and what we're provided today, we've kind of, to be honest, we've cherry picked. We've picked a few of them because this could go on for hours if we didn't. We're trying to grab things that are interesting, things that are significant, things that might change how you think about things. So these are kind of our curation of interesting updates.
Yeah, and I definitely have a lot of those revelations, even as we're going through different updates and seeing how. Not just how that they're a big update in terms of just, whatever feature or tool that it's pertaining to, but how it actually impacts a entire enterprise level strategy potentially, so I think it's pretty powerful stuff.
That's awesome. All right. Well, let's dive in. So as we mentioned, today is our monthly update show for November of 2022. So we'll be taking a look at some interesting recent changes in AWS services and discuss how they impact your business. And as always, go out and check out the AWS News blog for more detail on these items or any other releases that they have. John?
Yeah, so AWS, the first update here, AWS Glue Crawlers supports incremental Amazon S3 crawling on existing AWS Glue catalog tables. So now it also includes crawlers that are based on Amazon S3 event notifications. So it makes it a lot easier to scan that data set and look at things that are just based on events in S3. So, kind of being able to add some more observability in the way that you're doing your analysis of your logs as well. Also, it lets you extract the data schema and automatically populate the AWS Glue catalog, which keeps that metadata current. So you're crawling data sets that might not have actually been created by AWS Glue. So extending that support into any other tool that you might be utilizing inside your data pipeline. So really being able to bring in that capability right from the Glue crawler. And I believe, we're going to have some other updates within Glue and, kind of how some of these updates are all coming together to really help your data pipeline overall and make Amazon your kind of your central hub, even if you're utilizing other MDM tools. So
excellent. Cool. Excellent. The next item, the AWS transfer family now supports post-upload processing of partially uploaded files using managed workflows. So this offers customers even more control in defining and executing file processing steps for both complete and incomplete file uploads. With this ability, you can now configure workflows to trigger processing of files that are only partially received. For instance, in the event of a premature session disconnect, and it provides you more control on how to handle incomplete files. For example, customers can now specify a custom workflow step that triggers when files are only partially received to automatically notify the user to retry sending the files or to move incomplete files to a separate folder for troubleshooting.
And AWS Glue introduces Git integration. So now instead of having to, have to utilize Git in a way where you're just using it locally, you can now have all of your Glue jobs and your Glue process be in part of your CI/CD pipeline process. So really being able to bring together the data engineering and the software engineering teams, where that used to be a lot of siloed activity from at least what from I've seen in the past. So being able to use both GitHub and AWS Code Commit to maintain a history of their changes to the AWS Glue jobs, and then also being able to implement that in the existing DevOps practice.
Excellent. So Amazon SNS now has data protection and masking. So after a quick public review, this cool feature is now generally available. It uses pattern matching, machine learning models, and content policies to help protect data at scale. You can find many different kinds of personally identifiable information, PII, and protected health information, PHI, in message bodies, and either block message delivery or mask/de-identify the sensitive data, all in real time on a per topic basis. So now we've got more protection for PII and PHI in messages being sent via Amazon SNS.
Great. And there's also another Amazon bracket processor. So AWS's quantum computing service now supports Aquila, a new 256 qubit quantum computer from, I don't know if I pronounce this right, from QEra. That is based on programmable array of neutral rubidium atoms. So according to what's new, Aquila now supports analog Hamiltonian simulation paradigm, allowing it to solve static and dynamic properties of quantum systems composed of many interacting particles. So quantum, it's coming. So,
I was going to say, there's the practical applications for quantum stuff is in the very, very early stages, but it's interesting enough that I thought it was worthwhile to include in here, because I'm just imagining the day when our ML processing and ML training is happening on quantum processors. Can you just imagine what that would be like?
It's kind of like the old double-edged sword, right? Is like all those processes, but all that encryption cracking capability. That's the one thing, right?
There is that.
Not to be,
side and the dark side, right?
I love it. I'm futurist, but somebody taught me long ago to always be skeptical of quantum computing and how quickly it's going to get here. So
yep, I can see that. All right. Amazon S3 on Outposts. For people who are using Amazon Outposts, this service now lets you use additional S3 lifecycle rules to optimize capacity management. So just like on the cloud version, you can expire objects as they age or are replaced with newer versions, with control at the bucket level, or for subsets defined by key prefixes, object tags, or object sizes. So more AWS S3 lifecycle rules available on Outposts.
Nice. And AWS Cloud Formation. So they actually had two big updates. So first one is support of Amazon RDS in multi-AZ deployments with 2 readable standbys, and also better access to detailed information on failed stack instances for operations on the CloudFormation stack sets. So that's a good thing, especially when you're stacking up a lot of different stack sets. I could assume that'd be a tough thing to try to go down the rabbit hole and try to debug. So
yep, absolutely. All right. So for people who may be using Amazon Memory DB for Redis, which is a highly durable in-memory Redis implementation, you can now use data tiering as a lower cost way to scale your clusters up to hundreds of terabytes of capacity. So this new option uses a combination of instance memory and SSD storage in each cluster node, with all data stored durably in a multi-AZ transaction log.
Nice. And Amazon Text Tract updates. So I hear a lot about Amazon Text Tract. So this it's definitely a great update. So it extracts text, handwriting, and data from any document or image. So this past week, they updated the Analyze ID function. So now you can extract the machine readable zone on passports issued by the United States. And they also added an entire OCR output to the API response. So they've updated a lot of their machine learning models that power the analyze document function with a focus on single character box forms commonly found on tax and immigration documents. So now they can update the analyze expense function with support for the new fields and a lot higher accuracy for existing fields, bringing the total field count to more than 40.
Wow, very nice. Amazon SageMaker Multi-Model Endpoint, or MME, now supports GPU instances. For people who may not be familiar, MME is a managed capability of SageMaker inference that lets you deploy thousands of models on a single endpoint. MMEs now can run multiple models on a GPU core, share GPU instances behind an endpoint across multiple models, and dynamically load and unload models based on incoming traffic. And this can help you reduce cost and achieve better price performance.
Wow, there's a lot of machine learning engineering managers and teams that probably are not too happy about that update, but I think that is a huge update just in the manageability of a very large machine learning environment. So
I agree.
Amazon EC2 now lets you replace the root Amazon EBS volume for running an instance. So you can now use the replace root volume for patching features in Amazon EC2 to replace your instance root volume using an updated AMI without needing to stop the instance. So makes the patching of the guest operating system and all the applications there easier, while also retraining the instance store, networking, and all of the IAM configurations. So a lot of things just keep moving as you're going there. So good update.
Yeah, this sounds a little bit like the old adage of changing the tires while the school bus is running down the road. Yeah, it's like you can swap out your operating system without taking your system down.
Yeah, but well, that's why we got those two tires on the back, right? It's just exactly. One goes up.
That's actually a very very impressive. Be interesting. I'm always amazed at how people find interesting uses for these things. It seems like a fairly straightforward. They talk about patching. Somebody's going to find 5 other different things that they could use this for to do some really cool stuff on Amazon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
AWS. Go ahead, John.
Oh no, I was going to say. It's just you can keep the lights on as you're changing everything down all the way to the operating system, even off AWS. So
yep. All right, AWS Fault Injection Simulator now supports network connectivity disruption. So AWS Fault Injection Simulator, we'll abbreviate it FIS, is a managed service for running controlled fault injection experiments on AWS. So if you don't know what that means, go Google chaos engineering and chaos testing. You'll get a lot of information on what this is. So anyway, AWS FIS now has a new action type to disrupt network connectivity and validate that your applications are resilient to a total or partial loss of connectivity. So in other words, if you have a distributed application, this can simulate network disconnects within that network, so you can see how your application can recover.
I still remember going to my first Chaos conference. It was put on by Gremlin, I think, at Target. So that was years and years ago at this point. But that's right when Chaos testing was just getting going. So yep. It's interesting to see how it went from kind of that that open source world that, everyone over there in Target likes to live in because, it's Target. So I think that it's great. They always see stuff kind of coming down the
Yep.
pipeline. So it's cool to see it on a mainstream level, because definitely something needed for distributed systems. So Amazon SageMaker automatic model tuning now supports grid search. This one was surprising to me. For some reason, maybe I'm just so used to having that be kind of built into your code is doing grid search, but just another thing that makes life easier, less code that you're going to have to do. So you can now choose between going through your grid search and choosing between random, Bayesian, and hyperband search strategies. So it lets you cover every possible combination of the specified hyperparameter values for the use case that you're looking at. So when you're really trying to create a lot of reproducible training results. So.
All right. There's a new AWS parameters and secrets Lambda extension. So this is a new extension for AWS Lambda developers to retrieve parameters and AWS Systems Manager parameters from AWS Systems Manager parameter store and secrets from AWS Secrets Manager. Lambda function developers can leverage this extension to improve their application performance as it decreases the latency and cost of retrieving parameters and secrets. Previously, you had to initialize either the core library of a service or the entire service SDK inside a Lambda function for retrieving secrets and parameters. Now you can simply use the extension.
I feel like I'm going to use this coming up here pretty soon. I feel like that was something that was a problem that I was trying to solve. So I'm glad that AWS came out with this update here.
And it's pretty common to use things in Secrets Manager and Parameter Store in your Lambdas.
Mm-hmm. And so up to 10 times improving on the Amazon Aurora snapshot exporting speed. So Amazon Aurora MySQL compatible edition for MySQL 5.7 and 8.0 now speed up to 10 times faster when you're doing a snapshot export to S3. So an improvement is automatically applied to all types of the database snapshot exports, including manual, automated system snapshots, and snapshots created by the AWS backup service as well. So you don't even have to go in there and change it all yourself. So.
Exactly. A 3 times increase in RDS read capacity. So Amazon Relational Database Service, or RDS, for MySQL, MariaDB, and PostgreSQL now support 15 read replicas per instance, including up to 5 cross-region read replicas, delivering up to 3 times the previous read capacity.
Okay, well, it's funny when we just rattle off these updates. That's a 3-time increase. That's incredibly.
Well, I was focusing in on the 5 cross-region read replicas.
Yeah, that's golly. I mean, I remember when cross-region it sounded like you're crossing the chasm to another world there, but now it's 3 times faster, and it's up to 5 cross-region read replicas at once. So. No big deal.
No big deal.
Anyways, so the next one, double increasing speed on the AWS Snowball Edge compute capacity. Snowball Edge compute optimized device doubled the compute capacity up to 104 vCPUs. So doubled that up, or doubled the memory capacity as well to 416 gigs of RAM, and now fully SSD and 28 terabytes of NVMe storage. So this is
only 28 terabytes.
Oh, that's I mean, just not a small Midwest city by any means or anything like that, but it's just 28 terabytes just in a little device that you can bring just about anywhere. That's pretty incredible. So the updated device is ideal when you need dense compute resources to run complex workloads such as machine learning, inference, or video analytics at the rugged mobile edge, such as trucks, aircrafts, or ships. So, tons and tons of use cases that are going to come from this.
Yep.
and probably just, a lot of things that are just going to be implemented in our lives. And, we won't even notice all of the smart city stuff and all of the things that, there really is a huge digital transformation going on right now. It's pretty incredible.
Yep, absolutely. So for users of Amazon SQS, you probably know that Amazon SQS has two variations of the queues, a standard queue and a FIFO queue, or first in, first out. So Amazon Simple Queue Service, SQS, has now announced the increase of the default quota up to 6,000 transactions per second per API action for SQS FIFO queues. This is double the previous 3,000 throughput quota for a high throughput mode for FIFO, first in, first out queues in all AWS regions where Amazon SQS FIFO queues are available.
I feel like this was, and you kind of alluded to it before we started, but this used to be kind of a stopper, I guess, with FIFO at least. And so it's interesting to see them take more of a focus on SQS. I don't think SQS is ever really going to go away. So I'm glad to see a lot of the focus on some of those pointed use cases there.
Yeah. There were, what I've seen in the past is organizations who had a strict FIFO need, the really high volumes, ended up going away from SQS and going to either Amazon Kinesis or managed Kafka.
Yeah.
But this increases the use of the usability of SQS for that type of work. And SQS, to be honest, it's bread and butter. It's pretty simple to use. It's pretty straightforward. It works, and it works well.
Yeah, that could have been a good. It could have been a business choice in the past, and now maybe just it's the usability kind of coming to the top. So
exactly,
great update.
All right. Well, everybody who's listening in today, thank you very much. This is all we've got for you today. We hope you've learned something new. We look forward to sharing more next month after reInvent. Hopefully, there'll be some pretty big announcements. If you liked what you've heard, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube or download our podcast and join us next time for more fun and interesting topics. Thank you all.
Thanks.